Um, this is Margaret in Windsor. I have to use the name Peggy Ann Dempsey Childers. I've explained that on a lot of other YouTube videos and Facebook and Instagram. What I want to say and make it short today, I'm not going to show pictures or backup or background or anything like that. I'm going to refer to the James Holmes, the shooting at the theater there where they blamed him for the killings, and he's in prison getting beat up himself, and I don't know what they're giving the man. They just call him crazy and mentally ill. I do know for sure on that one and a lot of others, there's a list that this James Holmes is a mind control murderer. So is Virginia Tech, and I could go on and list a lot more. I want to make this short, though. I did a book back in 75 to April through May of 80. And again, I'll refer you to some of my videos and what I've just stated for reference, background on what happened to me. I wrote about mind control murders, which included, you can take a plane down with mind control and programming. It's behavior modification. You're getting it and you don't even know it. They teach you the Morse code and this has been going on for a long time, MK Ultra, which you can Google now. Back when I wrote the book, mine was research and I was led into finding out about it also and writing about it, and then what happened to me is beyond belief there. But anyway, what I really wanted to say, there's a list, and in it all, like I became a candidate in August the 31st of 83. Larry McDonald, congressman, doctor from Atlanta. I lived in Marietta when I was doing the book at Moonraker Apartments. But anyway, he was just one of the cases I wrote about. And he was the bad guy. I wrote about mind control. The Warren and Rosina Matthews, they were forensic pathologists, and they knew too much. And let me say this, mind control is invisible, so you won't find it on an autopsy report. A forensic won't show it. The ones I speak of were deliberately done in patterns so that they can hopefully be shown to the world whether they want to see it or not, you know. It's a perfect murder. And in all this, I told about the Korean jetliner that Larry McDonald was on, and I became a candidate after then, was flown out to Larry Flint's home. I'd never met him, but he had been shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia, when I was doing the book, and the man was programmed. So I'm just giving you a little bit of what can be done with mind control and program, and the person doesn't have the knowledge or doesn't even know it's happening to say yes or no. And if he did find out and went to a psychiatrist, look at all these psychiatrists that have to know about mind control and MK Ultra. You can Google all of this. It's not just MK Ultra. When I worked for the district attorney, there was a private detective that he worked for the district attorney, but I'd met him prior. And he told me, he said, I had a lady call me up, and her husband was going to kill her, and she got it off the phone. The hypnotic suggestion, I can tell a lot of how it's done because I was led into finding out. But the phone call, I'm assuming that had to be hypnotic off the phone, or subliminal. You can make people appear to kill themselves, and this is where I'm going to just put this and stop. I've put on the other videos about you can take a plane down, you can program the pilot or co-pilot or the marshal that's in there to protect you, or in schools, they're talking about giving teachers guns and etc. Well, the teacher could be programmed to shoot you, or the kids, or so. The weapon of mind control is unlimited. It can make deaths appear of natural cause. They can trigger heart attacks, strokes, cancer, and can also cure it. And therefore, you go back to Warren and Rosina Matthews in Atlanta, in Cobb County, that were killed prior to 78. And Tom Sharon, I believe, I knew Tom Sharon, the DA, and he prosecuted it again, and one of the witnesses was under mind control, hypnotized. So that I don't lose you, I'm just going to quit. I've told about murders like Yen Zorings and Elizabeth Haysom and Bedford that were tried for the murder of her parents. And there was a butcher knife that was used. They can program, let me say this, and it's widespread now, even security agencies and all of them, corporate is using it. And how do you prove it? And you can Google this under mind control and get a whole list if you don't believe me. They can't tell you the ones done in pattern that I'm speaking of, but you can get some good information there. Now then, you can program the pilot to take the plane down into the ocean or side of the mountain or veer into Russian airspace or anybody else's, like the KAL did with Larry McDonald, Dr. Congressman on it, and I became a candidate then. You can program a person to shoot. You can do mass shootings. They can program armies now, and the people are totally unaware of being programmed. They're behavior modified, and this is where I'm going to stop and say the Virginia Tech shootings back August the 16th, I believe, of 07. That one was one that can totally be proven. You can have someone rape and kidnap somebody. And how do you prove it? If you don't have patterns, you can't prove it's mind control. But my point is the Sandy Hook, the James Holmes, and here's another one that can be totally proven, and that's the Congressman Gabby Gifford, who's the Tucson, Arizona, and she was married to astronaut and twin Mark Kelly, and his twin Scott Kelly is at this moment up in space on the well, I'm drawing a blank here. You know what I'm talking about. Their home up there. And who knows what they really do. Everybody's taking their word for it. But the point is that it's unlimited. And the point is that it's not allowed to even be entered into a court of law. Anyone even bringing the subject up is subject to the law coming out and handcuffing them and calling them crazy. So you let it go way too far. You're too willing to turn your children over to a mental health, supposedly, authority. Look at how much the hospitals and mental health has grown since back in, when I started telling about this, it's shocking. And everybody's so willing to accept. I'm using the Oklahoma City, the homecoming yesterday. And I'm not saying this one, I didn't get the names and everything in it, but I know that it's typical of the killings on campuses and everything. So I can't say for sure, but in my heart, I know that she probably was programmed. Now then, they say she had liquor, she was drunk and under the influence. Well, with mind control, you can make the person drink, and then that comes out in a forensic, okay, a drug test. So, point being, she plowed her car into the bunch of people, and they're dead at the homecoming. I'm not saying at this moment, but my idea that she was probably programmed. But at least they don't say she was under the influence of mind control, but they will tell you she was under the influence of liquor. People under the influence of mind, it's not influence. They have no knowledge they're going to commit the crime. They're programmed to, and then they're called crazy or every name in the book. And like James Holmes, the man has been through hell. He's a victim himself, and that's hard to get people to accept unless they find out that it was done to their child. And they're sent to prison or death row like Timothy McVeigh, the Oklahoma City bombing. And so I'm going to quit here because it's unlimited.